Hey everybody, welcome back. It's the same morning. Baby's still here. She was so quiet last episode. That was... I mean, thank you, but also please don't feel compelled to be so quiet. If you got something to say, just let me know. We're Blue Baby, MPWV2ICQ. Hey baby. Hey baby. You hear that? Oh my god, this is the cutest little sound in the world. You having a good morning, baby? It's very hard to tell if a baby has a good morning, right? For an adult, you can kind of figure it out. If they got a brown paper bag that came from a local coffee shop, and they got like a cool cup with you know, one of those holders so that your hands don't get too hot, you'd be like, that's a good morning. You clearly had maybe some kind of like double-baked almond croissant and like a green tea latte, right? That's all it takes for an adult. For a baby, you know, the baby has no control over their morning. Whatever happens to them is essentially, you know, a combination of, you know, what the adult wants to happen combined with what their cries can actually manifest in terms of behavior, right? So, I always like to ask. I haven't gotten a great answer hither to this point, though. That's a good sign, though. That sound right there, that's a pretty good sign. That's a sign you got a baby that's having a pretty good time, I think. What do you think? Tomo's having a good time too, I think. I don't know. Okay, you can't lose HP so willy-nilly as Blue Baby. I'm trying to save up some money as well. Like, if we can use that money to get to a better item. Like, little Loki, I'm just gonna be honest, I've really, like, my Isaac philosophy, it changes a lot, you know, over the years. You know, there's been times where it was like, you really just, you know, always go for Guppy. Take every item on the deal with the devil. There's been times where I've been, like, much more conservative, and then there's been times when I've been zany and etc., etc. But, My current Isaac philosophy is filtered through a lens where I basically realize about 80% of the items in the game essentially have no impact on your ability to succeed or fail. I know it's like a level of Isaac nihilism that might seem kind of negative, but I just think that's the way it is. Like, if you were to do a stockfish style simulation and you simulated, you know, 10,000 runs on which you got Little Loki, and then 10,000 identical runs in which you didn't get Little Loki, how would your chances change? Now, let's assume Little Loki is not your, the only item you get over the course of the entire run, because that's not like an apples-to-apples comparison. Obviously, if you only get one item, you know, anything that provides even the slightest benefit would probably up your ability to succeed, but, it's just like, I don't think it moves the needle, you know what I mean, baby? Like, what's the frickin' point? I mean, I'll put 2 cents in this thing, there's no reason not to, but I really, like, I think I said it as well as it can be said, like, I really just have entered an Isaac mindset where 4 out of every 5 items that I see, I just go, okay, you know, sure, alright, just add it to the pile. More chaff for the pile, and let's move on. I know what this is, the baby ladder, okay? Which is not something you could buy at the Home Depot. It starts with quiet, then it goes to little grunts and coos. Following that, outright fussiness, and then crying, followed by wailing, followed by, you know, like tears in the eyes, weeping. So this is a baby who is starting to approach a certain level of hunger, I think. And may warrant a pause. May I say, may warrant a pause at some point. But I don't know, because sometimes I got a lot of tools in the toolbox to deal with something like this. For example, you're already familiar with this one. Frog. Frog likes to hop, hop, hop. He jumps in the water. Tuk-a-tuk-tuk-tuk. Splish, splash. She's like, yeah, it's good. That's okay. You buy yourself a couple of minutes. Can I hit you with one more for the synergistic effect, the 1-2 punch? I'm a hippo that's funny. Look at my great big tummy. Never remember the words in the third verse, and something you will see. She's like, yeah, now we're... Oh. I'd like to hear what this guy's playing. He's off the map. It's better than, you know, what usually happens, you know, because, like, sometimes you just gotta sing to the baby just to... I think she just likes to hear the sound of your voice, even if it's, like, a little amelodious. Sometimes I'll just have, like, you know, YouTube music on in the background, and she's starting to fuss, and I'm like, oh no, sir, I must say wrong, goodbye, horses. I don't think she likes that one as much as Frog likes to jump in the water. Frog likes to hop, 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 sorry. Oh, you like Frog likes to hop, hop, hop? Name 3 of his jumps. You can't? Sad. Fair weather fans. Forgot what I was talking about. Have I been talking about anything over the course of this episode? Maybe not. So we're still essentially like... Okay, that was just a, you know, bad locomotion on my part. We're oh, you okay, sweetie? We're still essentially like in a pretty bad spot here. We don't want to see that deal with the devil just yet. It would be a great opportunity for us to possibly get the ability to get some more spirit hearts and then get a deal with the devil later. Oh my god. I don't know what is that sound, baby? Is that the sound of a happy baby? Go, wow. You think of a really funny joke? I bet you thought of a funny joke. I bet it's the funniest joke in the history of the world. Knock, knock, who's there? Diaper. Diaper who? Diaper poo. That was off the top of the dome piece. That one's for free. Doesn't even really follow the natural through line of a knock, knock joke. That's okay. You know what? This could be a secret room here. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Can I hit you with one of these? Frog likes to hop, hop, hop. He jumps in the water. By the way, oh, that's exactly what we're talking about. That's an incredible item. I know you're like, why does he say water like that? If you hear the song, you will lose your ability to say water in a normal, like, non-New Jersey, Philadelphia sort of accent. You'll start saying water. Because it's just, he jumps in the water. Doesn't work, right? It just doesn't work the same way. This is mighty important. We would like to get as many spirit hearts as possible. Hello. So... Oh, it's good timing because she ate at 7:45. So she should be good to go. What the heck was that? Oh, I thought the simulation was breaking. Just heard 3 high-pitched electronic beeps. Okay, baby. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Alright. We, no, I don't apologize for that. Are you crazy? It was a cute, wholesome moment. We're gonna have enough to possibly get a deal with the devil here. This is exciting. It has taken us a little bit longer than, you know, the last run. I mean, the last run was like, you know, 23 minutes long. This one's a third of the way there, and we're, you know, 20% of the way through the game. Less, actually. Like, we're a sixth of the way through the game. 16% of the way through the game. Yeah, who sucks at math now? It's not, I guess it's like 16.5%, but you get the idea. You know, sometimes you gotta do back-of-the-napkin calculations. I shouldn't, but oh no, I just did. Okay, so we're taking Whore of Babylon. Remember my philosophy that like 70% of the items, 80% of the items in this game do nothing? This isn't one of them. This one does something. And I think when you see an item that does something, it's a special opportunity you gotta jump on. Now, I probably wouldn't have taken it were it not for the fact that we have Dark Bum. But we do have Dark Bums, so we don't need to live in that world of hypotheticals, except at night when we're, you know, trying to fall asleep. Then you can construct a nightmare world of hypotheticals of your own demise, if you would like. Remember that time, you know, all the awkward things you've ever done in your life? That's when they come back to you. Like when, you know, everybody on your bus for years, your school bus, was rude to the bus driver, and, you know, they called him stupid, and then you felt really bad for him, and then on your day of 8th grade graduation, he said, "Have fun in high school," and you said, "You too," and then it was like he felt the ultimate amount of betrayal. You know, it was like I had just been saving up like an unbelievable insult to offer to him. It was not my intention, I promise you that. It was just that, I mean, the "you too" is classic, right? Enjoy your movie, you too. Enjoy your food, you too. I mean, they know what you mean, okay? Everybody does it. Remember that time in 3rd grade you called your teacher mom? I don't even know how that happens, man, but it really is like the most embarrassing thing that can happen to you at that age. Next to like pooping your pants, which, I mean, I don't think that changes. Now that I think about it, I don't think it changes. Like, it would also be pretty embarrassing if you called your coworker mom or something like that. That's one. I don't know what it is though. But that's like you get dunked on. Did you call your teacher mom? Oh man, I did it in 3rd grade. And it left a lasting impact on me. I still remember it. Oh my god, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just walking into enemies. No reason. No recourse. Okay, that's... I am no longer complaining. That's fantastic. And we still have Horror Babylon because we're Blue Baby! Let's go! I forgot about that. That little wrinkle. I will take one of those. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Austin Powers. Sorry. Conversationally spinning my wheels, you know? Again, I do feel the need to defend myself. It has been now close to 13 months of lockdown. I got very little in the anecdote tank. And then some of the anecdotes I do have, people are like, please stop talking about them. I don't want to hear about, you know, investing regularly in, you know, low MER index funds to track the performance of the S&P 500. Like, I can't hear about it anymore. And I'm like, well, I got no freaking anecdotes then, man. What do you want? I gotta start making up. I went to the grocery store. You'll never guess what happened. I freaking died. I can't back that up. I'm still alive right now. Anyway. I don't know. We could just, I mean, just be silent for the rest of the episode. You know what we could do? Sportsnet, which is a Canadian, you know, kind of ESPN analog. I always forget you can take both of those. They actually do some, and I think it's, you know, it's easy to gatekeep this, but I think it's kind of smart. You know, baseball doesn't have the best reputation as being an action-oriented sport. You know, in the course of a game that's maybe like, you know, 2.5 to 3.5 hours long, there's, you know, 8 to 20 plays that actually have like an impact on the way that the game goes. I know you could say that for the rest of most sports, like, you know, especially if you look at something like soccer, you know, most games end, you know, 0-0, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, etc., etc. So, like, there's not that many moments that are critical, but, like, I don't know. There's also, like, the play is constantly moving, whereas in baseball, I mean, the play probably... And I'm not trying to insult baseball, I'm just making my case here. You know, like, 80% of a baseball broadcast is the ball being in the pitcher's hands, shaking his head, no, I won't throw a fastball, no, I won't throw a curveball, yes, I will throw a curveball, and then he throws it, and usually, like, it's a ball. And, you know, you rinse and repeat that like 5 to 6 times per batter. 3+ times per inning, and, you know, there you go. There's your broadcast. So they started airing, like, Blue Jays, this is years ago, at least, that they started. But they started airing Toronto Blue Jays games with, like, all the fat cut out. So basically, it would just show... It's almost like, you know how in MLB The Show... you only play your at-bats, you only play, like, you only field when the ball comes to you, so you can play a game in, like, you know, 10 minutes at most. It's kind of like that, you know, they only show, like, good outs, they only show base hits and, you know, home runs and stuff like that. Definitely, like, you know, not the purest way to experience the sport, but also, who really cares at the end of the day, you know, if you... want to watch baseball, but for some reason, or at least you want to follow the scores, but you don't have the means to sit down and, you know, track a baseball game for 3 hours. I think it's an interesting kind of option. I think they do it for Leafs games as well. I mean, it's really just like it's an extended version of like Sports Center. I still have no interest really in watching it, because at that point, I don't know. For me, the sport value is in seeing it live, not just like in person, but like as it's happening. Anytime there's like you know, hey, you could I'm always stunned by the dedication of sports fans that are like, oh, don't tell me how that game ended, I DVR'd it and I'm gonna watch it like when I get home. I'm like, really? You know, you could just look up the score right now. I guess I'm not trying to backseat you. I guess you derive pleasure from it. So, like, error, illogical, expression obtained, error, you know, like, I get it's a little robot NL, but for me, I think the whole time, let me put it this way. If I was watching, like, a Canucks game on DVR, and they went down 1-0 in the first 5 minutes, I would just look up the score, because I'm like, I don't want to sit here and watch the rest of this game if we're going to lose, like, 8-0. I could be doing something else with my time. I could be getting bodied in Valorant right now, or like hugging my daughter, you know? Yeah, we'll take that. So I just, you know, different strokes for different folks. I mean, there's some sickos out there watching HGTV, so I mean, who am I to disagree? I've seen House Hunter's brother's property. Everybody's loving and listing. Some of them wanna list it. Some of them wanna love it too. Sorry. There you go. That could work. That could be like the next big song. HGTV meets Eurythmics. There's home economics, home Eurythmics. Bob Vila Chicago by Wilco. You're getting a live view of the processing going on in my brain right now. I don't even want to talk about it, but I'm gonna, because we already got there, and I don't have the luxury of pruning anecdotes. We just kind of have to go with the flow. I swear to God, if you looked at the stats on Love It or List It, I bet it's 80 to 95% Love It. You know, are you familiar with the concept of this show? Basically, like, I don't know, like, do you ever find this stuff like a scourge on Civilization? Maybe, okay, I'm sorry, I'm taking it too far. But I just, you know, sometimes, I don't know, man, like, I'm not saying the problems that they have on a show like Love It or List It, which I haven't even described yet, are not real problems. I don't know, I do sometimes wonder if, like, you know, we don't have it, or if, like, some people don't have it a little too easy. I know how that sounds. I'm so sorry, especially, like, a little tone deaf coming from a streamer. But I'm like, you know, these people, sometimes they live in, like, nice houses in beautiful parts of the world, and their house is, like, paid for, and they go, I don't really like my kitchen floor. Maybe I should sell my house. And I'm like, just, like, I don't know. mean, look, you could change your kitchen floor, for one, but don't get me wrong, like, couldn't you also just be like, ah, you know, it's just what my feet go on. I get, like, this is what I don't understand. Like, I guess I'm too, and I know how this will sound, but I'm kind of like, I'm practical to a fault to some extent. Like, if you don't like your kitchen floor, like, okay, you could, like, change it. But alternatively, like, it's what you walk on. Like, I'm not trying to say that I don't understand the principles of, like, home renovations and stuff like that. But I just, sometimes I'm like, I don't know, I kind of lose it, man. When people are like, oh, I've been living in this place for 10 years. I don't really like the kitchen cabinets. I'm like, okay, so what? Don't like the kitchen cabinets. They're for holding cereal. Like, get over it. You know, we got bigger problems out here. I understand it's one of those, oh, you can never complain about anything because there's always bigger problems. I just mean, like, anytime I watch one of those shows and people are, like, in tears because they don't like the way that, like, they're, oh, our banister's oak, but I wish it was iron. I'm like, it's not, like, shut up. It's not a real problem. They things that probably want to make me cry that aren't real problems, too. Like my tier stat on this run, for example. But I don't know, I guess that's what gets me about HGTV, is that, like, whenever they try to, like, manufacture some drama, I'm always like, it's just a, you know, it's just a cabinet. I hate that. I can't stand to walk into my living room and look at this fireplace. Every time I look at the fireplace, just, ugh, it makes me wanna, I don't know if I could live here anymore. Okay, well, you know, like, have you considered just not being a big baby about it? I'm sorry. I don't know, I just, like, I'm missing, like, the, I guess I'm missing the part of my brain where I, like, care about stuff like that. To some extent. You know, like, when it came time for us to get this place, we did make some decor changes for sure, and we even, like, we did make some flooring changes. But at no point was I like, you know, if we have carpet, I'm gonna lose my mind. Instead, I was like, you know, what do you want? You want the light wood or the dark wood? And Kate was like, I think the dark wood would be better. And sometimes she makes the mistake. She'll be like, what do you want? And I'm like, I don't even see this stuff. Like, you know, when Neo becomes the One in the first Matrix movie, and instead of seeing, like, the hallway, he sees everything in, like, the green and black, like, Unix terminal. Like, that's what life is like for me, but without the ability to have superpowers. Like, I really am so inside of my own head that, like, I don't know the color of my own eyes. I'm being sincere. Sometimes people are like, you know, what color are your own eyes? And I'm like, or what color are your eyes? And I'm like, I don't know, I never really looked. Then they want to get into, like, an argument, you know? They're like, take your glasses off. And they're like, oh, they're like a little green, but like a little blue, too. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, excuse me, can I get back to doing my fundamental analysis now? Like, it's genuine, though. Like, I think if you asked me, like, I'm losing it right now. Like, I'm thinking of my own kitchen, and I could not tell you if the cupboards are black or white or brown. I think they're brown. In my head right now, I'm picturing it, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure we have brown cabinets. And you know what's weird? Anybody else out there who's, you know, like, oh my god, I'm not the only one? I think there's tons of us, man. But things like HGTV gaslight us. Like, the only reason I can tell you what color my office is, because I can look at it right now, but also because I have to cut out the wall behind me for all these thumbnails that I'm making. So basically, the wall behind me is exactly the same color as my skin. So, you know, just take whatever my skin color is and find it on the Home Depot color match. That's what that is. But, like, if you ask me what color is our living room? Bro, I got no idea. I could tell you. It's not, like, pink or silver or gold. It's nothing weird like that. I just don't notice that stuff, man. I'm always surprised by, like, people who do. I recognize, by the way, you know, like my parents are kind of like home reno people. I actually think that's one of the reasons I'm well, not anti-home renovation, but like, you know, I kind of find myself rolling my eyes at it. It's changing as I'm getting a little older, for sure. You know, especially when things like, you know, a home renovation can, you know, raise your property value. I understand it, but especially as a kid, you know, go around and like, you know, when my parents were like looking to move, we would look at houses and they'd be like, I don't know, I don't really like the crown molding. And I'm like, what the heck is crown molding? And they'll say things to me, and again, this is not an insult. I've said the same things to my parents many times, but they'll be like, oh yeah, it had really nice, like, barrel coffered ceilings. And I'm like, what the heck is a... Is it B-E-R-Y-L-L? Like beryllium? I don't understand. Is barrel, like you're inside of a barrel? It's good if your ceiling looks like you're inside of a barrel? I don't know. That stuff, like, I don't... I don't know, like, dude, it's like art, you know? Okay, I think this is a good way to describe it, actually. To at least describe my own ignorance of it. I'm not saying everybody else has lost their mind. I'm just explaining why I think I don't get it. Do you have to, like, learn to appreciate interior design? Or do you just sort of, like, you know, do some people have a natural proclivity for it? Because basically, like, I'll tell you, I watched Parasite. I thought the house was gorgeous. I thought it was well designed. The architecture of it was amazing. But unless your house is either like, you know, like a trap house on the HBO show Drugs, Inc., or alternative, like, unless you got aluminum foil on your windows or you're like a $15 million house, it takes me a lot of work to see the difference. Which is why when I watch those shows, I get a little upset. Sometimes. When people start, like, crying that they don't like the wallpaper in my bedroom, like, just makes me want to cry. And I'm like, okay, that's where you sleep. Like, if the wallpaper in your brain made you want to cry, I'd be like, that's a real problem. I don't know how to fix that one. The wallpaper in your bedroom makes you want to cry? Okay, turn the light off and shut your eyes. Sorry, I'm deliberately playing this up a little bit for absurdity, but there is a part of me that is definitely like, you know, when I watch these shows, I'm like, I don't really like the paint in the bathroom. Okay, then, you know, can of paint from Sherwin-Williams is like, you know, 50 bucks. 50 bucks and the, you know, little weekend project, and there you go. Now when you're pooping, you don't have to look at a color that you kind of don't like. That's what, you know, like, people say, like, oh, I'm function over form, I'm form over function. I'm, like, almost function only. Almost to a fault. Like, I kind of get down with, like, people sometimes will look at, like, brutalist architecture, you know, like, buildings that are designed to elicit misery, and they'll be like, I would be so sad if I lived here, and, like, all the apartment buildings, they look the same. I want to live in an apartment building that looks like a big umbrella, and live next to somebody who's in an apartment that looks like a beach ball, like... Hi, my name's Nino! Sorry, I just had heavy that energy. I'm just like, man, I don't know. You know, that's the beauty of being in the apartment, is like, once you're inside, you're not looking at the outside all the time. But maybe I'm the crazy one. Maybe I'm the weird one. It's been suggested. Certainly has been suggested. Yeah, on the internet, your apartment can look like whatever you want. Because it's inside of your freaking brain. Anyway, and so what I was trying to say is that I'm pretty sure 99% of those people are just on the show. They have no intention of selling their house. They just want to get the free renovation footed by HGTV's budget. And you know what? Make his pockets hurt. Why not, you know? They always manufacture some drama. The Vancouver one is ridiculous. Me and my wife are debt-free. We live in a $1.7 million home in North Vancouver, which is, you know, nice neighborhood for sure. But we just don't, you know, they'll hit them with something like, you know, oh, yeah, you got some, like, mold in your attic? How much is that going to cost to repair? $7,500. We don't have that in the budget, $75. Yeah, I'm sorry, we're going to have to take away your guest sauna. Ever since I was a little child, I dreamed of having a guest sauna. We can't get rid of that. It's just, like, the problems don't stand up to the smell test sometimes. Don't get me wrong, you could be house poor, but have a high, like, net worth, you know? If you bought a house in 1972 for a nickel and 2 packs of gum and future considerations, and then, you know, it went up 10,000% since then. Yeah, you know, and your job hasn't changed or you're retired or whatever, sure, but, like, I'm like, well, that's when you're supposed to... That's when you're supposed to sell your house and start to rent and then live a sweet retired life instead of feeling like, you know, gated by the fact that you know, your home is like a prison at that point. Anyway, like, look, I'm not trying to tell people how to live their lives. Just saying, this is the kind of stuff that filters through your head on HGTV. Alongside of, like, you know, my husband's a professional stamp collector and, you know, I dabble with video game streaming on the side. Our budget is $75 million. What we're looking for is, we want to be right in the city center. We want to be right in the middle of downtown, but also we want it to be a safe neighborhood, and we want it to be huge, and we want it to be cheap. Is that possible? And they're always like, let me see what I can do. Don't even get me started on, and I know that we've been through this before years ago, but the tiny house stuff. If you're into the tiny houses or van life, I actually think it's kind of cool. It's not for me. I do like the creature comforts. I respect the van life stuff and the tiny house stuff, both as like an economic reality. You know, houses are unbelievably expensive and, you know, ahistorically expensive, especially given current wages. And, you know, it's spreading, you know, even throughout areas that are not traditionally, like, real estate hotspots. However, and then the other side of it is that, you know, you leave a lower environmental footprint. So, like, I think it's cool, even though, you know, it's not really for me. I think, you know, you could definitely spin it as a positive. But every time on Tiny House Hunters, they always have something ridiculous. I want a tiny house, but it also has to have, like, a California king-size bed. And then the poor real estate agent is like, you know, they take them on the 75-second-long tour of the tiny house, and they're like, I don't think I could fit my bed in here. And they just want to strangle them. Like, yeah, you're looking for a tiny house, okay? You have to stand on your toilet seat to access your shower head. Like, did you really think... I was just hoping there'd be enough room for a pool table to fit in here. Like, are you insane? I'm a tiny house enthusiast, but I also love to have, like, miles and miles of model trains. You're like... You gotta make some compromise. I get the show, like, it's trying to, you know, to manufacture some drama as well. You know, you can't just be like... I mean, I would be terrible on those shows. They would never have me, right? What do you think of this place? I don't know, it's nice. What do you think of it? You know, it's nice. What do you think? That's like... They would probably have to shut down the network if they put me on. I'm just like, you know, I'm part of the, as Lisa Simpson said, I'm part of the MTV generation. We never get too high or too low. How's that, Lisa? Eh. Anyway, this is a run, you know. It little slow at the start, definitely made up for it as we got a little closer to the end, but feeling strong, feeling good. And you know, enjoying Isaac. I apologize if you're a big fan of the Property Brothers or Love It or List It. But I mean, like, look, you know, I don't want to say we own our home. We're making payments, right? The bank owns our home. And so I understand this might seem tone deaf, but like, I'm not trying to, you know, steal solidarity or valor or whatever. But I remember I was watching one of these shows where, like, you know, they It was in, I think, Mississippi, and there were these, this family was looking to buy a house, and they had it narrowed down to, like, 2 places. And then the, you know, realtor came over and was like, you know, you got to make that fateful decision. Which one are you going to buy? And then, you know what they said? We've decided we can't choose. We're going to buy both. And I was like, oh, okay, F off. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. And if you didn't, I apologize. They're not all like this. But thanks for watching either way. I do hope you enjoyed it. And of course, follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Northernlion, if you want more acerbic commentary like this in the future. For now, though, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya!